Okay, so I wanted to come on here via the MetaQuest 3, or MetaQuest 3S that is, and kind of explain to you guys that some of you that may not know this, of how the Omni Flash portion of of this whole situation works, if you will. Now, you might say, well, what do you now you might ask, well, what do you mean? How does it work? Well, it's quite simple. You see, normally you would think, okay, I want to add to this scene, right? You want to add to this scene, right? You want to do this, right? So honestly, you would go to add the scene, and you would think, okay, that will allow you to extend, right? Like you go to the scene, it should allow you to extend. Kind of like what you would do if you went to fast, light, or quality. When you do these, you can extend your image, right? You can, do what you want. It'll give you the extension part under the studio, or under the scene builder, if you will. That's what it'll do. It'll give you that opportunity. I mean, I'll give you an example. So let's add this one to prompt, okay? All right, let's add this to prompt. And then, okay, we didn't want to do that just yet, but let's go to this. Let's add this to prompt. Now, we're going to go from Omni Flash to fast, right? Which is probably one of the more cheaper ones. Now, watch. We're going to let that do its thing. We're going to let that do its thing. Now, you can create, obviously, whatever you want with it. As you can see there, I have Julie Sue, or their interpretation of Julie Sue and Sally kissing. And you obviously see what's about to happen, right? Now you do go into a queue. You do go into a queue. Okay, so sometimes that takes a bit. I've noticed that Pro was kind of busy over the past few hours and stuff like that. But anyway, what happens is you let it load, you let it render and everything. You should, hopefully, without any issue, get a result. You should. But anyway, basically with Omni Flash, though, the big difference is you got to go to the studio thing. The scene builder situation. You got to go there, and you got to basically snapshot. You got to save snapshot. Okay, so obviously this went a little askew, so we'll try that again. But anyway, I don't know why it's saying that for. It's kind of weird. Um, like I said, it's one of those situations to where it's different, but anyway, like I was saying, as I was trying to say, basically, long story short, you know how it is when you do these kind of videos, right? With basically 3.1 fast or quality of light, you can extend. You know that, right? You get that extension option under the video, right? You get that under there. Well, with Omni, you'd think you'd get the same thing, right? You'd think with Omni, you'd get the same thing. You'd be able to extend. Now, you see, I don't know why they did it that way. I don't know why they did it that way and everything. But anyway, you would think, okay, I can get extension, right? I can get an extension. But that's not the case. You're supposed to get an extension, but you don't get it. Well, actually, you do. See, right here with light, you can get an extension, and then you can prompt to extend. You can prompt to extend. You see, with that, you can prompt to extend. But here's what's crazy about this, okay? And I don't know why they did that. Here's what's crazy about that. So we'll go here and watch this. This is Omni Flash. This is Omni Flash I'm on. But watch this. You can add clip, but you can't extend. You can't extend. So what do? Well, it's real simple. The best way to get around this, because you can't extend and all that, the best way to get around this is to essentially, if it lets me, go to the last image, which is that, and then you see this right here? This is where you're going to save the frame. You save the frame, uploading frame, and you're going to save it. You're going to save the frame, and then what you'll do, because it'll already be saved, it's right here. What you'll do is you'll go to add to prompt, and then you'll put whatever prompt you want in there under the Omni Flash or any of these that you want. You can do fast, quality, and Omni Flash. Now, if you just want to like extend without having to go through all that, the 3.1 options is the best option to go with. Light, fast, and quality. But if you want to do Omni Flash, which is supposed to be more precise, Google/Gemini is promoting it that way. Google/Gemini/Flow slash VEO is uh, promoting it like that. Google/Gemini/Flat. Easy for me to say. Google/Gemini/Flow/VEO. They're all promoting Omni Flash as being the more accurate, the more, basically the one that allows you to keep things as they are, right? So anyway, you could use that and continue from there. But then, basically, like I said, you also have these options, which will allow you to extend with no problem. You could do quality; it'll allow you to do quality. You want to do fast, you could do fast. Light, you could do light. Any one of these will allow you to extend once again. Because obviously you can tell they've changed a lot of things to where you can still extend, but it's going to be the light option, so you don't waste that many credits, if you will. Because remember, Google Gemini did that I/O online conference presentation, if you will, as to what was going to be coming next and everything, down the line, if not instantly. Because a lot of us that have YouTube, like me, suddenly just out of nowhere, we'll give it a nice little gift of, hey, now part of your Google One packaging, you get premium. Well, at least the premium light version, if you will. But yeah, basically, if you want to not have to go through save the frame and all that, and just want to extend, like I said, the best option is to go with any one of these. So that you could take this, you could create with one of these, and you could just extend from there. But if you want kind of like close to accuracy, and I guess this is what they're promoting it as, Omni Flash is the best way to go, and saving the image, like I showed you, is the best option, and then you just continue from there. And what's interesting about this too is you could also, if I get this fixed here, you could also download the image. It'll be, I think, yeah, it'll be in 1K. It'll be instant download, and you could use this image at any other AI platform like Image Grok. You could use it on Cdance. You can use it or any outlet that has Cdance. That's SEEDANS. That's SEEDANCE. Cdance 2.0 or 1.5. You can use it there. Especially with the more 1.5 being more kind of NFSW risque. You could use it there. You could use it with the new WAN 2.7 uncensored or not uncensored. You could do it there. So you got a lot of options. And you could use it to make like a comic. Like if you want to do image like this, like that, you want to do a comic, and let's say you want to do a comic strip with her introducing herself as the new fused version of Sally and Julie Sue, you could do that. So long story short, basically, I wanted to do this video to kind of make it more simplified for you guys to understand, because it was confusing for me at first till I looked up the information, that if you want to test out the Omni Flash, which is, again, promoted as the more accurate version of VEO on Google One/Flow, if you want to use Omni Flash, but you want to continue, the best option is to save your image on the last frame, like I just showed you, save your last frame. For example, like I said, we're right here. You save your last frame. You go here, save your last frame, and you should be good to go because it'll automatically be right here in the section where you started all this with basically your project area, if you will, your dated project area. It'll be all right there. And then what you could do, like I said, is you could also download it. You can also download it to use on outlets like Image Grok or anywhere else, if you will, in any manner you want, depending on whether or not they allow a little bit of riskiness, NFSW, uncensorship, whatever the case might be. So you could do that. You could do that, and it would work. It would actually work. In fact, one example I'll give you right here, hopefully with no issues, because this is Google, of course, but hopefully with no issues. If it loads, here we go. I thought I clicked it, but hopefully it works without no issue. Hopefully I can do this without no issues. But point is, point is, you could also do it with other ones. Like right here, I have this image of that somebody created, this original image of Luna and Beelzebub, Queen Bee, if you will. And I basically took this image initially and I said, what would happen if they fused together? Because I'm sure a lot of people have been wondering, like, okay, what would happen if they fused, right? And then here's one example. This is kind of using the melting form. There you go. And then this is not the melting form. This is more like, okay, the kissing and the absorbing, and then boom, there you go. And the same here. So you see what I'm saying? Look at that. Now, here's what's interesting. This is the ending of the first one. So what did I do with that? Come up here, and basically I have her introduce herself as her new fused self, Luna B. And then I take the image from that, I take the last frame from that, and that's the so I take that, and that's the last frame from that. That's the last frame from that, and I saved it. So what did I do? I came up here, did another one. Well, she basically says that Luna and B are resting comfortably in her mind, and as long as she's around, they don't exist anymore. And it's something they don't mind at all. So basically, as you could tell, and it's pretty much all the same. I pretty much did the same with all the different iterations I did here. But the point I'm getting at is basically, but the point I'm getting at is that's how I was able to use Omni Flash and kind of keep things pretty much, tit for tat, pretty much, flowing continuously after the other. Now, what this does as well, if you will, what this does as well, after they do the initial fusion, like let's say here, or okay, let's say right here, what this does as well is this is the studio, right? We're in the studio, right? So here's what it is. You got the add clip. What it does is it brings up all this. It brings up all this, and once you find what you're looking for and everything, it will create the scene, and it will, I think, add it. I think it will add it right there. I believe it will add it right there, so it's a seamlessly transition. I hope. Yeah, as you can tell, it's extended. You can tell it's extended a little bit. It's loading, but basically you could tell that that's what it's doing. That's what it's doing, if you will. But essentially, yeah, basically you take that last scene that you want. Like, let's say, again, I find it right here. You take this last scene and you say, I want to add the clip, and then that's what it's going to do. It's going to add it, if you will. It's going to add that scene, and you should be good to go. You should be good to go. And that's what it means by the seamless flawlessness, if you will. And it takes a bit to load and everything. It does take a bit to load. But basically, the end result is it's just going to continue one after the other. So anyway, that's pretty much how this whole thing works when it comes to Omni Flash. But yeah, I just wanted to come on here and kind of do this for you guys and let you, kind of see exactly how you can work the Omni Flash deal without any issue. Again, you can still do the quality stuff with just a regular extension. You can still do that. But if you want to really go with the best, and by the way, they're letting you use the Omni Flash credits for less than what it is. You can use them for 15 credits, and everything instead of like the 30 or whatever they price them up to. You could use them for that, and it's worth it. It is worth it, guys. But yeah, I just wanted to do this video to kind of show you how to basically work around or within the Omni Flash and situation and how to extend and all that. So yeah, it's similar to what I showed you with the A Power Soft and all that, but here you could do it with this, and I think you could do it with any other video as well. Go and create that, or go and save the last frame in any other AI video you might create elsewhere, and then go from there. But anyway, though, guys, I just wanted to, talk about that, and let me know what your thoughts are. Comment down below, like the video, ring the bell for notification, subscribe to the channel, and share the video. And let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know if this is something you figured out yourself, not just with Google, but with other AI videos you generated on other platforms. Let me know. And until then, I am out.